hanging over their heads is the burden of reaching past excellence. Every win is measured against their previous accomplishments.
We're not doing the things that made us a great team last season, and we're just not playing hard enough to win.
What the public and what the media is expecting, or what they're seeing in the past, is us blowing out teams and us dominating teams. It's not happening right now.
After struggling in the opener, the Bulls lost Game 2. Along with battling the Hawks, did the Bulls struggle with lofty expectations or complacency? Even worse, did the Bulls struggle with each other?
We got to have a bigger effort. We got to have a bigger effort from Dennis. We got to avoid the technical fouls that Dennis is getting, and he got to play. He just got to play the game and stop looking for the fans to give him the uplift and just play.
Dennis hasn't really given us the effort that he's given us throughout the course of the season. I think that's obvious. You know, when I'm doing all the rebounding, he's not.
I think that if he's not going to lead us in rebound, then don't lead us in technical foul.
Are the Bulls starting to come apart? They've lost home court advantage of the series along with their aura of invincibility.
I'm not ready to push the panic button yet. I advise you guys not to do that either.
Now questions surround the defending champions. Will they have the answers?
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1997 NBA playoffs. Today, it's the Chicago Bulls versus the Atlanta Hawks.
What time is it? Game's up.
Moments ago, the Chicago Bulls taking the court here at the Omni in Atlanta, the site of Game 3 of this Eastern Conference semifinal series between the Bulls and the Hawks. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert along with Matt Gukas. And, Matt, these are unusual times for the Chicago Bulls. Unusual because for the first time in 2 years, there is a degree of concern. Yes, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen have been doing the job, but they are not getting much help from others.
Well, they are holding up their end of the bargain, but you get the feeling that Michael and Scottie are crying out for some help. Michael Jordan getting his points, but working overtime, chasing Mookie Blaylock and making up for Dennis Rodman's inability to rebound. Scottie Pippen did hit the winning three in Game 1, and his perimeter shooting has been on target, but that's hard to rely on. But the glaring weakness for Chicago is inside. Dennis Rodman's bad knee affecting his rebounding, and the technical fouls just ridiculous. And no help from Luke Longley in Game 2, early foul trouble, and no presence in the middle. And Chicago's bench has been very, very quiet, with the exception of Tony Kukoc.
Meanwhile, the Atlanta Hawks are feeling very good about themselves, feeling particularly good about the inside-outside combination of Dikembe Mutombo and Mookie Blaylock.
Well, Dikembe is the defensive player in the year, so not much going on inside for Chicago. But what a bonus offensively. High percentage shot, drawing double teams, and he's on the offensive boards. And the key man for Atlanta, Mookie Blaylock, and Mookie executing the pick and roll. If he's not penetrating, he's playing hide and seek and knocking down the outside shot. And the textbook pick and roll with the beautiful pass to Leitner. And when you're as hot as Mookie is, even the shots under pressure are falling. And as long as Dikembe Mutombo and Mookie Blaylock are playing well, Atlanta is a serious threat to win this series.
All right, Matt, for more on Chicago and Atlanta, let's check in with Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Marv. The key to playoff basketball in the NBA is making game-to-game adjustments, and the Bulls have made a big one. Michael Jordan, who was worn down by Mookie Blaylock, will not guard Mookie today. Instead, he will guard Tyrone Corbin. Now, I asked Michael about all the finger-pointing mainly aimed at Dennis Rodman. He said Dennis Rodman did deserve that finger-pointing, but he was not the only one. He said in order for us to beat this Atlanta Hawks team, everybody will have to step up and play well. Now, I asked Dennis Rodman just before the game if he would start, and he said, quite frankly, I don't deserve to start. I haven't been playing very well. And Marv, you know, I sort of cleaned up that language, but you get what I mean. He won't start.
All right, Ahmad, well, this crowd very much into it. Coming up, it's Game 3 of the best of 7. The Chicago Bulls and the Atlanta Hawks, the first of our NBC playoff doubleheader. Well, on a 62-degree day here in Atlanta, some Olympic memories. Look at the Olympic cauldron. We are indoors at the Omni capacity crowd, better than 16,000 on hand. The Hawks so successful at home, 36-5 during the regular season, third best home record in the NBA. A look at the starting lineups. The Bulls with the one change, as reported by Ahmad. Dennis Rodman will not start. Jason Caffey up front with Scottie Pippen, Luke Longley, Michael Jordan, Ron Harper in the backcourt. For the Hawks, Christian Laettner with Tyrone Corbin, Dikembe Mutombo, the starting center, Steve Smith, Mookie Blaylock in the backcourt. The officials, Hugh Evans, Bob Delaney, and Derek Stafford.
Well, Phil Jackson's adjustments defensively make a lot of sense. First of all, Steve Smith has been a big problem for Chicago getting to the foul line. In the 2 games, 18 for 22. So the taller Scottie Pippen may kind of keep Steve from going in and posting up. Jordan on Corbin gives Michael a little bit of rest because Corbin not much of an offensive threat. And Ron Harper has looked quicker in the last couple of games, and he'll have the job of watching Mookie Blaylock.
And a bad pass from Blaylock could not be handled by Smith.
Well, already 29 turnovers in the 2 games coming in. That makes it 30 as the Hawks are a team apt to make the careless turnover.
At the other end, it is Steve Smith, as you mentioned, defending on Michael Jordan. Scottie Pippen, though, goes to the high post, played by Christian Laettner. And Tyrone Corbin with the rebound. Here comes Blaylock. Blaylock putting moves on Harper. You see Caffey back to cheat and help out. Smith with some room. 3-point attempt. And Jordan with the rebound. He had 16 the other night in Chicago. And perhaps expended too much energy in going to the boards and also following Mookie Blaylock around. Michael Jordan with a tough angle jump shot for a 2-0 Chicago lead.
I noticed with about 8 minutes to go in the 4th quarter of game 2, Michael took himself off Mookie Blaylock because he realized he had already worked so hard on the boards and knew he had to try to really pick it up with the offense, and he knew how hard it was to chase Mookie.
Looked like Steve Smith got slapped on the right wrist and is hurting. And a foul is called. Foul against the Bulls.
Well, after Michael Jordan just made that last jump shot, as these two have been banging away at each other, a little elbow, a little calling card from Michael Jordan. As Steve Smith loves to talk on the floor, and of course, Michael's not so shy himself.
Jason Caffey called for that foul. Here is Smith backing Pippen. Jordan with the rebound and batted out of his hands. Foul is called on Smith, a hacking foul on Smith. Let's check in with Ahmad.
All right, Marv, the funny thing when you just saw that interaction between Michael Jordan and Steve Smith, Michael was telling me that Steve actually was trying to con him during the game. Every time up and down the court, he asked him, hey, what kind of car you driving to the game today? Next thing you know, he'd be holding him on the other end. So Michael said he couldn't get caught up in that. He'd have to be real physical against him today. Marv?
All right, Ahmad, here is Jordan firing. Mutombo with the rebound. Blaylock. Pounded by Harper, and it's deflected out by Harper.
Well, the Bulls expecting a lot of pick and rolls because it's something they've had problem with, and you could see there Ron Harper forcing Mutombo down towards the sideline, baseline area. So when a pick does come, they don't want Mookie to get over the top, at least to start out. But they'll probably have to play it a few ways in this game.
And here's Blaylock. He's had to work very hard to free up for the shot. Bulls with a 2-0 lead. 2:10 gone by. Pippen Jason Caffey, who started 19 times during the regular season, then started games 1 and 2 of the series against Washington, has seen limited action, only 7 minutes in game 1 and game 2, and a foul is called. Pippen over to help on Laettner, and got a piece of Christian Laettner.
Just by the reaction of Scottie Pippen, he certainly felt that he got all ball, or at least made no contact with Christian Laettner on that dunk attempt, as Jason Caffey, trying to pressure Laettner in the post, trying to get around on him, gambled and lost, but Pippen right there to help out.
Christian Laettner has had an excellent season. averaging 18 a game, acquired last February from Minnesota, along with Sean Rooks in the deal for Andrew Lang and Spud Webb.
There you see Christian Laettner's regular season numbers in the 4 games against Chicago. 37 of those points came in that game right after Christmas when they defeated Chicago right here at the Omni.
And that was a season high for Laettner, also establishing a career high with 14 rebounds. 4-2 the score. The Bulls on top. Here's Pippen for 3. And Corbin able to save it. Blaylock gets it down for Smith. Laettner took only 7 shots in that first game against Chicago. Offensive foul on Smith. So Steve Smith picking up 2 here in the early going.
Well, at the beginning, I said Smith may be a little reluctant to post up going against this taller Scottie Pippen. Keep in mind, Steve Smith is 6'8" himself and not really that much concern with Scottie inside.
Mutombo able to reach for the rebound. Blaylock doubles to Smith. Darren Hancock is getting set to check in, probably for Steve Smith. Blaylock coming up short on that 3-point attempt. Look at Blaylock at 8 3-pointers in game number 1. Jason Caffey with his second field goal. The Bulls lead 6-2.
Well, it's always a roller coaster ride with Mookie Blaylock. Shot very poorly in the Detroit series and exceptionally well in the first 2 games of this series, but he is streaky.
And here's Corbin for 3. Tyrone Corbin in his 11th NBA season out of DePaul. It's been an injury-hit year. Jordan foul. He beat Smith off the dribble. Smith did not want to reach in and collect a third. And that was fouled by Laettner.
Team second. And he gave the bus Darren Hancock in for Steve Smith.
And Michael Jordan, so far in these playoffs, the first round against the Bullets, of course, aided by a 55-point game there. And in this series, not shooting the ball as well as he would like. And a lot of that was due to trying to do so much in the 4th quarter of game number 2. And Michael 0 for 6 from 3-point land in that one. And Michael almost got hurt on that play as he was sandwiched by Dikembe Mutombo and Christian Laettner and almost had his feet taken out from under him.
Bulls with an 8-5 lead. So Steve Smith going to the bench early with the 2 fouls and replaced by Darren Hancock in his 3rd season out of Kansas. Corbin for 3. Rebounded by Hancock and lost the grip. And the officials conferring, was it last touched by Chicago or Atlanta? Derek Stafford in a discussion with Hugh Evans. Evans said Hancock knocked it out of bounds.
Well, actually, Hugh Evans wasn't really sure at the beginning, and Derek Stafford doing a good job there, sensing the indecision on the part of the lead official. Hugh Evans ran right in and told him at least what he saw on the play.
Chicago Bulls 69-13 during the regular season. Finished up, though, by losing 3 of the last 8 games. Michael Jordan is now 1 of 4 from the field. Longley was able to keep it alive. And then a pushing foul on Corbin. First round of the playoffs, Bulls swept Washington 3-0, although it was not easy. The Bulls not at the top of their game. And involved here in a 3rd game of a best of 7 and tied at 1. Atlanta with the victory in game 2 this past Thursday in Chicago. The first visiting team in 2 years to win a playoff game at the United Center.
Well, when you're playing against a shot blocker, the theory should be take it to him, challenge him, make him block some shots, get him into foul trouble. But so far in this series, Mutombo has the Bulls on their heels, taking most of their shots from the perimeter.
Scottie Pippen is called for the travel. Mookie Blaylock, 8 years out of Oklahoma, his 5th season with Atlanta. And he's really turned it after shooting only 33% of that opening playoff series against the Pistons. It will be Atlanta ball with 11 on the shot clock.
Oh, with 5 minutes gone in this first quarter, Atlanta with only 5 points and now hampered with Steve Smith, one of their best scorers, sitting on the bench with 2 fouls. This is where Christian Laettner has to become more of a scoring threat, and he has been reluctant at times in this series.
Atlanta only 1 of 6 from the field. Mutombo drawing the double coverage, lost it to Hawker. Pippen with the room. Yes. And the Bulls lead 10-5. Lenny Wilkins wants a timeout. Not only have the Hawks gone just 1 of 6 from the field, they have turned it over 4 times. The Bulls by 5. You're watching the NBA on NBC. Again on the halfway point of this first quarter, Chicago with a 10-5 lead on Atlanta. Bulls have been struggling in the playoffs, as we have been discussing, and struggling in all phases of their game, including at the defensive end.
Well, Dikembe Mutombo holding that ball out there like the proverbial loaf of bread for almost anybody to take it, but Ron Harper taking a chance, leaving Mookie Blaylock alone, and then coming down and executing, getting the little stagger down screen for Scottie Pippen. But still, the Bulls settling for jump shots because they have in that back of their mind and in the front of their minds as well, Dikembe Mutombo patrolling that lane.
And Michael Jordan trying to get the Bulls off to a fast start, just 1 for his first 4. You see the Hawks only 1 of 6, and with turnover problems here at the start. Leitner trying to get involved, backing Caffey. Christian Leitner hitting on his first field goal attempt. The Bulls lead by 3. For those who may have just tuned in, Dennis Rodman, who has been struggling, is coming back from the knee injury, not in the starting lineup. Jordan is now 1 of 5. Caffey, and rebounded by Corbin. Phil Jackson was telling us earlier. There's Corbin. Yes. Phil Jackson telling us he would make a game-time decision regarding Rodman. He wanted to see if Dennis would come to him. He wanted to see what his attitude would be like. We noted on Showtime that unusually Dennis Rodman was out shooting early, and that may have shown a sense of urgency. Foul on Corbin, who did not like that call, but Phil Jackson decided to go with Jason Caffey. Dennis Rodman has been bothered by the stomach flu the last couple of days, but Phil made it clear if he were not in the starting lineup, it would not be because of the flu. Apparently the 24-second clock and the game clock is out. That's the 24-second clock over the Atlanta basket of the Hawk end of the floor. So you heard the buzzer, but there was a foul called on Corbin.
Simultaneously, it'll be, I think now Hugh Evans is going to talk with, he's going to talk with Derek Stafford to see if, in fact, they're going to stay with that foul on Tyrone Corbin. And they have. You know, the Atlanta Hawks coaching staff very happy that now we're back in order with both shot clocks and game clocks over the basket. The coaching staff very happy when Robin was in there because it let Mutombo roam free. Now Mutombo has to watch Longley, more of a scoring threat.
Pippen eluding Blaylock and trying to hit the 3. Bulls trying to take advantage off the double team on Jordan. Oh, a foul is called. Hancock was flying to the basket and the goaltend. The basket will count.
Michael Jordan running back on defense had his head turned to the play, actually tipped that ball, but Derek Hancock, sometimes an out-of-control driver to the basket, actually appeared to be out of control there, leaving his feet early, trying to take the charge, and then Caffey coming over. I should say the Bulls trying to take that charge, but Caffey coming over and swatting it away, giving Hancock that opportunity for 3.
Foul committed by Jordan. Darren Hancock, originally signed to a series of 10-day contracts. Played with San Antonio earlier in the year. Actually appeared in only 1 game with Charlotte for a couple of years. Also played a year in France. And getting the early opportunity today with the foul trouble plaguing Steve Smith. The rejection by Mutombo. And notice the wagging of the finger not at Scottie Pippen in the direction of the crowd.
Well, Scottie Pippen starting to go to the basket now, but Mutombo almost surprised him there. And actually, Luke Longley has to find a seam in the lane there, top of the key, to get open for shots like that.
And for Longley, his first attempt. And he's given the Bulls a 12-11 lead. Just under 5 minutes left in this first quarter. And off the pressure from Pippen, Leitner not able to hold on. So the ball back to Chicago.
Turnover number 5 for Atlanta, and so far Ron Harper doing a terrific job on Mookie Blaylock. Good ball pressure and not giving Blaylock very many open looks.
Was it deflected? Yes, it was. Last touch by the Hawks. And here's Tony Kukoc checking in, replacing Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen going to the hoop, and really no chance there as Mutombo had him lined up, and then Dikembe saying, no, 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 but you're allowed to do it to the crowd. Phil is saying to the officials, I thought he was not allowed to wag his finger. He is not, in a taunting gesture towards one of the opponents, but as long as he looks to the crowd and doesn't look at an opponent, they are letting him get away with it.
And Dennis Rodman is also checked in. Michael Jordan with his second field goal. It's 2 of 6, and the Bulls now lead by 3. And Dennis Rodman shedding the knee brace, looking for more mobility. He's matched with Christian Laettner.
And you can see the philosophy by Lenny Wilkins. Go right at Rodman, make him defend.
Mutombo with the rebound and foul. Oh, and Rodman and Laettner get involved. Laettner pushed Rodman away. Laettner looking at the official, Bob Delaney, looking for a call.
Well, right to the post up, and Dennis Rodman knows he is a marked man because they don't respect his defense inside. When Laettner came across, he felt he got fouled on the play. And now what Christian Laettner has done in situations with Rodman, instead of just taking care of his own business, he has been complaining to the officials right away. Jordan stepping right in there, trying to keep Rodman from getting that early technical foul, which has been his trademark throughout the last couple of years, really.
Phil Jackson telling us earlier that he told Dennis that the game changes dramatically as soon as he picks up a technical foul. And Dennis Rodman has collected 5 technicals in the 5 playoff games the Bulls have been involved in, and he's been ejected on 2 occasions. Jordan. Michael has been off here at the start. Alan Henderson, who just checked in, able to get to the rebound. He's played well against Chicago. Henderson in his second year from Indiana. This is Hancock now handling against Hoffer. Blaylock now picked up by Jordan. Laettner again going at Rodman. And has to give it up. Blaylock for 3. And you saw Kukoc come over to help off the board. That also a weak area for the Bulls. Kukoc only 1 rebound in game 2. Nice goal for Kukoc. Will not count. Illegal pick was set. Foul is called on the ball. It's on Rodman.
And a delay of game warning against the Chicago Bulls as Rodman holding on to the ball too long. And Tony Kukoc looked like he had a wide open drive to the basket. Mutombo will leave him to come over to help. And then just a little touch from behind. A very ticky-tack call there on Dennis Rodman. But that shows you the scrutiny he is under as the officials are watching his every move.
The Bulls with a 14-13 lead. 3.5 remaining in this first quarter. And the call away from the ball against Chicago. It's number 2 on Rodman.
Well, Christian Laettner starting to take Rodman inside on the cut. And then sticking out the left arm, and then the shove, the shed, trying to get inside position. And once again, you know, that looks like a play that both players should be allowed to get away with that, because I didn't see anything that should have been called a foul on either player. But once again, Rodman's track record hurting him and the Bulls.
Well, the Bulls go over the limit with that foul. Rodman picking up 2 within 80 seconds. And it looks like Phil Jackson wants a timeout. 3 minutes, 16 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Hawks and the Bulls tied at 14. Well, Chicago Bulls coach Phil Jackson upset with that last call that went against Dennis Rodman. Phil telling Hugh Evans, Laettner hit him first. But as you look at Rodman's numbers, which are very unimpressive, the Bulls trying to get Dennis back into the series physically and mentally. We talked about that with Phil Jackson.
Dennis is affected by, particularly by us, putting pressure on. He's not affected by the press. He's affected by the referees. And we told him basically the refereeing changed when you got a technical in the second half of the ballgame. Suddenly everything was a foul, and they went to the foul line an unbelievable amount of times. We've got a lot of calls that went against us, and we've got to continue to maintain a positive attitude.
And Phil Jackson sees the trouble that Dennis is having and the problems causing his team, has him on the bench with those two personals, but the officials are going to give him that early technical, call the fouls on him, almost as a stun gun to take some of that vim and vinegar out of him.
Michael Jordan now 2 of 8 here at the start. We're just under 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Eldridge for Kastner, who's been effective against the Bulls. Now handling with Jordan defending. Tony Kukoc in a battle with Alan Henderson. Henderson makes the turn. Mutombo missing on the rebound. Mutombo with another opportunity. Gets the foul.
And you see the look of disgust on the face of Phil Jackson, clearly upset with Luke Longley here, as Tony Kukoc doing a reasonably good job of making Alan Henderson take a very tough shot. But there is no reason for Longley to lose contact with Dikembe Mutombo. Mutombo has been going strong and hard to the offensive glass, and nobody has been getting a body on him.
There's Brian Williams checking in. Michael Jordan will sit down. Scottie Pippen is back. Luke Longley departs, picking up a second foul. Scottie Pippen only 1 of 5 from the field. Dikembe Mutombo has not been able to be handled effectively once again by the Bulls. He has 5 points, 6 rebounds, 1 block shot. Randy Brown getting it ahead to Jason Caffey, eluding the pressure by Atlanta. The Hawks now lead 18-14. Pippen trying to post up with Blaylock on him. Here's Williams. Rebounded by Henderson.
A rare scoring opportunity and a good one for Chicago in the lane. Very few shots inside as the lurking presence of Dikembe Mutombo is in the minds of the Chicago Bulls.
Brian Williams playing despite a sprained right knee. An MRI was negative. He had come into the series with a minor hip injury. Leitner, played by Williams. Mutombo, and Kukoc is fouled. One-handing the rebound and hit on a reach-in. So it puts Atlanta over the limit. And Kukoc heads to the line. Foul is called on Henderson. Well, sometimes a picture is worth more than 1,000 words. Check out the NBA's best players doing playoff battles in spectacular full-color action photos every day on NBA.com. That's the official website of the NBA. Tony Kukoc trying to work his way back into his usual form. He's made it back from a strained right arch. The problems with the foot all season long. Hawks 18, Bulls 16. Marv Albert, Matt Guokas, and Ahmad Rashad from the Omni in Atlanta. Game 3 of the best of 7 with the series tied at 1. Off the nice lead from Leitner.
Now, Scottie Pippen, I don't know if that's a permanent switch, but he has been watching Blaylock, and he got caught trailing on the play, got no help in the lane.
Bulls have missed their last 5 shots, now down by 4. Here's Brown. Happy with the rebound. Kukoc finding Pippen. You can see Pippen altered the shot with Mutombo right there. The save by Pippen. Coming up on 1 minute remaining in this first quarter. Well, Brian Williams to the left hand, and it cuts it to a 2-point Hawk lead.
Well, for once, the Bulls got Mutombo out of the lane as he was watching Jason Caffey only about 17 feet away, but it enabled Brian Williams to cut across the lane and at least get a shot off in the paint.
Brian Williams being very physical with Dikembe Mutombo, and he's called for the foul.
Mookie, in effect, playing the shooting guard position, just going around, curling around Mutombo, and Scottie Pippen following, as I'm sure the Bulls would like him to do, but I'm sure they don't want Brian Williams to play help defense like that, as he was hugged up tight against Mutombo instead of stepping out and bumping Mutombo at least and making him go wide. I should say bumping Blaylock and making him go wide.
It can be a 70% free throw shooter. He has had a terrific season. Spent 5 years with Denver, signed with Atlanta as a free agent. First player in NBA history to lead the league in block shots 3 straight years. This year he finished second, 3.5 per game. 21-18, Atlanta. Williams got the step and rejected. Meanwhile, it cost him. He turned around to wag the finger at the crowd, and he did not pay attention, and that's why the Bulls were able to take advantage. Perhaps a lesson learned there. We'll hear about that from Lenny Wilkens. Blaylock with 20 seconds to go in the quarter. Nice play by Randy Brown. Randy Brown, an excellent defensive player all over Mookie Blaylock.
Well, right away, Mutombo knew that he made a mistake, and as he was running down the floor, was looking in the direction of Lenny Wilkens. Now, Brian Williams, who was a teammate of Mutombo's in Denver, knows him well, knows he's a shot blocker. He's going to challenge him anyway, and it is the smart thing to do. Make the shot blocker block some, get him a little bit tired. But a good hard drive by Brian Williams and a better defensive play by Mutombo to stone cold knock that loose. But Mutombo, starting to look in the direction of the crowd, just lost all contact with the play, and then the ball saved by Pippen. As here it is again from an over-the-top look. Dikembe Mutombo just stopped playing, the wave to the crowd, and then the save right into the waiting arms of Scottie Pippen.
I have a feeling Dikembe will cut down on the entertainment phase of his game. Let's check in with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, Marv, during that timeout, Lenny Wilkens did not say anything to Dikembe. They was just dealing with the problem at hand, and that is trying to stay in his ball game. Marv?
I think it's one of those situations, Matt, where nothing had to be said at the moment, because Dikembe knew. You could see that sheepish look as he focused on the Atlanta bench. He knew he made a mistake.
And Lenny Wilkens' demeanor is such that he is not going to further embarrass a player, especially during the course of the game. And he may never say anything about it. You're right, Bob. They may just look at it on tape, but Dikembe knows the mistake he made.
6 on the shot clock. 19 seconds left in the first quarter. Rick Kastner inbounds, and it's deflected out by the Bulls, down to 4 on the 24. Neither club has shot well in this first quarter. Atlanta 6 of 16, and Chicago 8 for 23. Now Henderson throws in. Down to 2, down to 1. From downtown. The Hawks 24, Bulls 20, 10 seconds to go in this first quarter. Steve Kerr on the floor for the first time. He's been quiet in games 1 and 2. Pippen off the dribble, going right into it. So at the end of 1, it's the look out. Some wars between Henderson and Kukoc, but Dikembe Mutombo guiding him aside. Whoa, things are getting testy. At the end of 1, it's the Hawks 24 and the Bulls 20. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
On the last play of the first quarter, Brian Williams and Alan Henderson battling for rebounding positions as Scottie Pippen penetrates. And it looked like Henderson had good inside position, but right there, Brian Williams caught him with an elbow right in the back of the head, and Alan Henderson let Brian Williams know all about it. But as they're walking away, Dikembe Mutombo jumping right into the face of Henderson, saying, do not get involved with any of the extracurriculars. What a short memory Dikembe has, as just moments ago he was waving to the crowd after a blocked shot and gave up an easy basket as he was not looking, and as a result, double technical fouls on Alan Henderson and Brian Williams. Verbal taunting the ruling there, as they obviously missed the elbow by Brian Williams to the back of the head.
So as this second quarter gets underway, the Hawks with a 24-20 lead. Both clubs shot poorly in the first quarter. Chicago 8 of 23, Atlanta 6 for 16. Michael Jordan is back, and Jordan only 2 of 9 from the field. Pippen is just 2 for 7.
And none of those 9 shots by Michael have come in the paint. He did get one driving shot, but was fouled on the play, and that's not counted as a shot.
illegal defense call for the first time. It's on the Bulls. Hawks get the new 24. The Atlanta Hawks went 56-26 during the regular season, second in the Central Division. They finished 13 games behind Chicago, but after the 1st of January, they were 43-15. Rick Kastner for three. Eldred Kastner, who shot well against the Bulls during the regular season, one-time member of the Houston Rockets. Also spent time in Turkey, played in the CBA. 7-point lead for Atlanta, their biggest of the game. Here's Steve Kerr from deep. Comes to Jordan, passed on the shot. Steve Kerr in the series is only 2 of 7 from the field. Nice move by Brian Williams, using glass, and the Bulls trail by 5. Blaylock and Rick Kastner in the backcourt. Up front, Mutombo with Leitner and Henderson. Another Hawk turnover.
Brian Williams is very good in post defense as far as gambling and guessing at times when to sneak around and come up with deflections and steals.
Now Steve Kerr trying to shoot his way into it. Blaylock has a 2-on-1 with Kastner challenging Kerr. The tip by Leitner was missed. And back come the Bulls. Jordan couldn't handle the pass. Blaylock. Met by the double team. Henderson. Alan Henderson extends to a 29-22 Atlanta lead.
Well, this has been typical of this Atlanta Hawks team. They miss a golden opportunity to get a layup and then miss a tip, and they don't put their heads down. They don't pout. They get back on defense and then still go at it at the other end. It's why a lot of people think this Hawk team is going to give the Bulls all they can handle in this series.
Tony Kukoc. That is his first field goal. Hawks lead 29-24. Turnover number 7 by Atlanta. Kerr open for 3. Oh, he is off. Kukoc, Tony Kukoc, able to get to the boards, and he cuts it to a 3-point Atlanta lead.
Well, Steve Kerr on his last 2 3-point attempts has been so wide open and has had too much time that you start to think you would like somebody to be running at you and put some kind of a semblance of a hand in your face.
Illegal defense against Chicago for the second time.
Well, on the turnover, the Hawks never really regrouped defensively. Tony Kukoc raising up for the jumper. Not enough pressure by Christian Leitner. And then after the turnover, Steve Kerr trailing the play wide open. But Tony Kukoc, again, nobody getting a body for Atlanta on him. Gets the easy putback.
And now Rick Kastner hits the technical off illegal defense. 9:18 remaining in this first half. The Hawks 30, the Bulls 26.
Well, slow start for Michael Jordan in this first half. Just 2 for 9 from the field, 2 for 2 from the line. All of those shots, with the exception of the drive to the basket, coming from the perimeter, as the Hawks doing their level best to keep him on that perimeter. And when Michael does start to think about going to the lane, there is Dikembe Mutombo, and that'll make you pull up for a lot of jump shots. A little early to start talking about some of Michael's poorer playoff games, but there they are. We're used to putting up those 40s and 50s, but Michael will, I'm sure, hang in there and keep firing away.
Our production staff trying to balance all the good words over the years that have been expressed regarding Michael Jordan, but lots of time remaining. Only 3 minutes have gone by in the second quarter. Henderson battling for position, played well by Kukoc. Shot clock at 5. Corbin trying to shake off Jordan in a shot that went short, saved by Williams. Brian Williams done a nice job since coming on for Luke Longley. Came on after Longley committed a second foul. Williams trying to get the move on Mutombo, and doing so, he's called for a double dribble.
I think it's unfair to characterize just because Michael has a game in the low 20s or even in the teens that he's not playing a good game. Nothing could be farther from the truth, but when you're used to seeing a guy like Michael Jordan averaging 30 a game, you almost take it for granted. But Michael plays defense, he passes, he rebounds. He does not have to score in the high 20s every time out.
And an adjustment made today. For the most part, he has been defending on Tyrone Corbin rather than chase around Mookie Blaylock. Here's Corbin firing for three. Got the crowd mumbling. Corbin hit his first three-pointer, and he's been encouraged since then. But he's 2 of 5 from the field.
I think the mumbling was that last shot did not look very pretty leaving his hand.
3-second violation. Bulls trying to get some ball movement, but the extra pass costs. Dennis Rodman sitting it out, played briefly in the first quarter, picked up 2 fouls within a minute and 20 seconds, and Phil Jackson put him back on the bench.
Wow, the frustration with the stomach flu, the bad knee, he's playing poorly, he's having fingers pointed at him as the biggest problem, so you can imagine what's going through that mind.
Steve Smith is back on the floor, picked up 2 early fouls, being guarded by Scottie Pippen. Shot clock running down. Hawks are forcing some difficult shots with the good defense by Chicago. Jordan finding the opening. 8 points for Michael Jordan. And the Hawks now lead 30-28.
And Michael right away acknowledging to Brian Williams, who's doing a good job coming over to set that screen.
Steve Smith was fouled. He was blocked on the play, and he will shoot 2.
Michael coming off a high pick from Brian Williams, who's being guarded by Dikembe Mutombo. And then Mutombo is not going to jump out very aggressively on Michael because he does not want to get out and get beat on the dribble, so he'll give up the jump shot, especially since Michael is not shooting it particularly well from the outside. But there was that pointed finger right to Brian Williams. That's an old North Carolina trait. When anybody either makes a good pass or sets a pick or does something good out on the floor, that little pointed finger.
I thought it started at your alma mater, St. Joe's of Philly.
I think it did before me.
I see.
And I won't even go into the area about broadcast. No.
Steve Smith with his first point of the game. 3-point Atlanta lead. Pippen lost his balance, able to recover. Jordan finding Kerr. Yes. Steve Kerr with his first field goal. And the Bulls are within 1.
And Steve will say that is more like it. He had Eldridge Rakasga running at him, challenging the shot rather than being left wide open. Much more comfortable for a shooter.
Anderson nearly left his feet. Anderson. It's Humble. On the rebound. He has 8 points, 8 rebounds. Hawks by 3. Williams setting the screen. Here's Jordan. Michael getting better shots now. He has 10 points. Hawks by 1.
And a little closer to getting nearer the basket. That time Michael took it inside the foul line, almost to the dotted line. Starting to get comfortable getting towards Mutombo.
Alan Henderson firing that hook shot up off the glass. Henderson continues to play well. Second field goal, he has 4. And the Hawks lead 35-32. This unit has played well for the Bulls. Jordan facing a double team. And Corbin tried to save it, but stepped out of bounds. Lenny Wilkins with substitutions now. Sending on Blaylock with Hancock and Leitner. Timeout has been called. Just under 6 minutes to go in the first half. Steve Kerr has been struggling with the shot, connecting on his first field goal of the game. And Michael Jordan showing signs, picking it up. He now has 10 points, 6 rebounds. We'll be back in a moment. The Hawks have led most of the way. They've led by as many as 7, but the Bulls have hit their last 5 shots. Michael Jordan has hit his last 2, now 4 of 11 with 10 points. Mookie Blaylock, a quiet start, 2 for 5 from the field, 5 points and 3 assists.
Well, Phil Jackson has been searching for an effective lineup throughout this game and seemed to find one. Now, Brian Williams had been doing a good job. A couple of mistakes, losing Mutombo on the boards. He's out right now, replaced by Caffey.
Traveling violation. Both teams with 7 turnovers. So the Hawks will get it back.
And here's an uncharacteristic as Michael had his ready to make that pass. And evidently the player he wanted to throw the ball up to had his head down, and Michael got caught having to take that extra step.
Leitner now guarded by Caffey. And a whistle away from the ball. Blaylock released that shot. Foul call on Kerr.
Well, Steve Kerr stepping in, trying to help Scottie Pippen, which is what he should do, getting right into the path of Steve Smith, but I don't think you're supposed to hit him in the face either.
Correct. And again a foul. Steve Kerr defending on Mookie Blaylock. And picks up his second. Very difficult matchup for Steve Kerr.
Actually, while Ron Harper came out early in the game, did an outstanding job on Blaylock, and everybody else now's had a crack at him. He's starting to feel it.
Leitner. Bucket and the foul. Had a notion to shoot from the top of the circle and went to the drive, and he heads to the line.
Well, that ability to shoot the perimeter shot will get the defender up on him, but a poor defensive job on the part of Jason Caffey as he came out straight up, and no way you're going to be able to keep him from getting to the basket. Leitner has that 16 to 18-foot jump shot. You saw the drive to the left. He will commit those careless fouls, and you got to be very physical with Leitner, which is what Dennis Rodman likes to do, but then that's what gets Leitner complaining. And here's the guy that will be physical with him, and Rodman right now, with the way that he is playing, the foul trouble that he has, might as well just try to blank everything out. Because you never know what he's thinking when he's playing, and just play Dennis Rodman basketball. That's how he can help the Chicago Bulls most, instead of getting into these little altercations with other players and referees.
3-point play by Leitner extends to a 6-point Atlanta lead. Michael Jordan called for that foul on Leitner, his second. Scottie Pippen not able to get into it. Pippen. Tip missed by Caffey, but he's able to recapture. And the Bulls have a new 24. Harper is back, so Harper and Jordan in the backcourt. Rodman, Pippen, Caffey up front. Nice pass from Rodman to set it up for Pippen.
Well, there's no need to be shy about going to the basket with Mutombo out of there. But as we speak, Dikembe on his way to the scorer's table to check in.
Atlanta with the ball and a 4-point lead. 4:25 left, first half. Smith for 3. Yes. Oh, Steve Smith drilled it. That is his first field goal. Steve Smith has had an excellent season. Led the team in scoring during the regular campaign, averaging better than 20 per game. Hawks by 7. Jordan. Rebounded by Leitner. Smith with the opening 3. They are up by 10, and once again there is the feeling of great concern on the part of the Chicago Bulls. Again, the Hawks with a double-digit lead. That has been the pattern through all 3 playoff games.
Steve Smith had to go to the bench early in the first quarter with 2 quick personal fouls, coming off now and feeling it from downtown with the 3-point shots as Dikembe Mutombo waiting to get back into this game and protect that goal. Happy to see Steve Smith get going offensively, because he is another big key along with Mookie Blaylock to their game. Here's Steve Smith's career playoff numbers in those 28 games, playing a lot of minutes. 20 points a game, does a lot of his damage posting up, and also is a 3-point threat.
Steve Smith began his NBA career with Miami, spent 4.5 years with the Miami Heat, and then sent to Atlanta in the deal involving Grant Long and Kevin Willis. Rodman gets inside, did not shoot, then threw it back to Caffey, and he's able to score. Talking about the big leads on the part of the Atlanta Hawks. They led us by as many as 16 in game 1, but the Bulls able to come from behind and escape with the win. Had the big lead in game 2 on Thursday. Well, the Hawks looking for a foul call as Hancock hit the deck. Looked like he's shaken up, and back comes Pippen. Oh, Rodman did expect the pass. Pippen saw that Rodman was wide open, but Dennis does not think offensively and was not looking in that direction.
He thinks offensive rebound. Even the last pass that Pippen threw him was unexpected, but still able to make the play. And it seems that every time Chicago runs some kind of pick and roll involving Mutombo outside, they get something going to the basket.
Timeout has been called by the Hawks with 2:49 left, first half. Atlanta moments ago, Darren Hancock shaken up, making his way back to the Hawk locker room, and here's how it occurred.
Actually tripped over the foot of Dennis Rodman and bumped into Michael Jordan and went hard to the floor. And then on the other end, as Scottie Pippen raising up to take the shot, and like all good offensive rebounders should do, anticipate the miss. But Dennis anticipates a little too early and starts to turn, and that pass going right off the back of Dennis Rodman.
A little schmoozing on the part of Dennis with Hugh Evans.
Well, Dennis Rodman is just so out of sync right now. His game to him is so simple as to what he does. Just hustle for rebounds, hustle for loose balls. But right now with the bad knee, he's unable to be mobile.
Michael Jordan taking a rest, sitting down with 10 points, 6 rebounds. He has not shot well. Shot clock is down to 6. Mutombo is fouled. Kukoc came over and got him from behind. Good look by Blaylock. Well, coming up next, Shaquille O'Neal and the Los Angeles Lakers look to even up the series against Karl Malone and the Jazz. Karl Malone hoping to turn things around from his performance in Game 3 as their conference semifinal continues. That's next right here on NBC as the second part of our playoff doubleheader.
Well, the Bulls have gotten up 8 more shots than the Atlanta Hawks. Some of that due to some good offensive rebounding. They have 10 as a team. Jason Caffey has 4 of them. But this is where the Hawks are doing their damage. On the free throw line. Now 13 out of 16 in the first half for Atlanta. Just 4 for 4 for the Bulls.
And Mutombo 6 of 7. He's had a very strong first half. 10 points, 8 rebounds. 2:25 remaining of the half. Harper for 3. Ron Harper. For the Bulls, their first three-pointer. They had missed the previous 5. 46-39 Atlanta as we come up on 2 minutes to go in this first half. Marv Albert with Matt Dukas and Ahmad Rashad from the Omni. A lot of support here for the Chicago Bulls, although it is a sellout crowd. And Leitner called for the charge. Home attendance did increase dramatically this season. They had 17 sellouts. Last year, only 5. 17 sellouts represents the second most the Hawks have ever had. Although the Hawks were disappointed in not selling out Game 5 last Sunday against Detroit. This is a club that does so well here at home. 36-5, third best record in the league. And at one point they won 20 straight at home before being knocked off by Chicago in February. Caffey with the save. Here's Kukoc. The tip by Rodman. Hawks by 5. Dennis Rodman with his first field goal. Minute and a half remaining in the first half. Rodman now guarding Mutombo. Mutombo backing Rodman, who tried to draw the foul.
Now Dennis Rodman battled him initially, tried to keep him off the block, but Lenny Wilkins has been consistent. Go at Rodman every chance that they get.
Rodman and Mutombo became entangled, and Mutombo went down. He was trying to get the attention on a foul call that was inadvertent, though, in terms of that collision. That was last touched by Caffey. So the Hawks will maintain possession.
Nobody liked that goal, in particular Phil Jackson, and actually by Leitner's body language, he felt that that pass, whether he touched it or not, was off the Atlanta Hawks and should be Chicago's ball.
Atlanta by 7 with a minute left. First half. Smith coming off the pick, back to three-point territory. He's hit his last three from three-point range. The Hawks matching their biggest lead, up by 10.
Terrible switch that time between Kukoc and Pippen, as Pippen probably should stay with Smith, the quicker defender. Tony Kukoc way too late to get out and challenge that shot.
Chant of defense from the crowd. Steve Smith with 10 points all here in the second quarter. Shot clock down to 3. Hopper has to fire and hits a casual three-pointer. And Ron Hopper, in the face of Tony Kukoc, he's asking, why did Kukoc take the shot? Hopper had to bail him out with a fling.
Well, actually, Tony Kukoc was double-teamed. Mutombo was there. Kukoc had to fling it off. But Ron Hopper never really had clean possession of that ball. He just flung it.
Final seconds, first half. Mutombo feeling for Rodman, and the foul, and a technical foul. So here we go. There is very little tolerance for anything from Dennis Rodman, who better be careful here. The technical on Rodman as a follow-up to his reaction to the foul committed on Mutombo, but there is zero acceptance for anything that Rodman does. Here's another look.
Well, Dennis Rodman at 6'7", obviously giving up the huge height advantage to Mutombo, has to do it with the low base, trying to push Mutombo out there. But after the foul was called, and then the slap of the ball out of the hands of Mutombo, the reason for the technical.
Third foul on Rodman. Steve Smith shooting the technical. Excellent free throw shooter. 85% for the season. Here's a look at the slap. There it is.
And it's because the whistle has already been blown. The foul has been called. Mutombo looking like the innocent little altar boy. And Dennis Rodman constantly gets himself in these kinds of problems. And it's not an individual thing. Look at all that. 10 fouls so far in this series. And the obligatory almost 4 technical fouls. But not only is it hurt Dennis, it hurts his ball club.
And his ball club has been very upset with number 91. That made clear in the candid statements after Game 2 by Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. So here's Mutombo spending lots of time at the line. Now 6 of 8 at the free throw line. We're down to 5.5 seconds remaining in this first half.
This is when the Bulls, after a made free throw, like to get it out of bounds and throw the what they call the home run pass somewhere down top of the key area to Michael Jordan.
Well, Pippen is fouled. Blaylock and Leitner trying to prevent that pass. But it's a non-shooting affair. They had a foul to give, so pretty good play. It's on Leitner. That's his second.
Actually, a very smart play by the Atlanta Hawks to keep Pippen from getting on any kind of a run towards the front court or make that long pass. Now the defense can get set.
3 and 6/10 seconds remaining in this first half. Judd Bushler has come on, as has Michael Jordan. Jordan off the double team, finding Pippen, and he's able to take it to the basket. Well executed by the Bulls. 0.5 of a second to go.
That wraps up the first half.
So, at the half, the Atlanta Hawks with a 52-46 lead on the Chicago Bulls. Dennis Rodman continues to plead his case to the official Bob Delaney. Michael Jordan with 10 points, to Dikembe Mutombo with 12, and Steve Smith with 11. Stay tuned for Hannah Storm and the Prudential halftime report. It's coming up in just a moment. You are watching the NBA on NBC. Welcome back to the Omni in Atlanta, where the Hawks have a 52-46 lead on the Bulls. Marv Albert with Matt Gukas and Ahmad Rashad. A 6-point lead despite the fact that Mookie Blaylock has been relatively quiet, only 5 points. Christian Laettner has attempted only 5 shots. Let's check out the Miller Lite halftime statistics and the big numbers here, Matt. 3-point shooting by the Hawks and the free throws.
Well, Atlanta efficient from the 3-point line coming into this third game. Shooting 44%, have improved that with 6 from 11, and where they're really doing business at the free throw line. 14 for 19 already to only 4 for Chicago. And Steve Smith getting off to the slow start because of foul trouble, coming on late in that second quarter, getting open from that same spot beyond the arc.
3 of 4 from downtown for Smith. A look at the Chicago Bulls, just 2 of 8 3-point shooting. They've gone to the line only 4 times, as Lazar mentioned at halftime. Second chance points have kept Chicago in the game. Michael Jordan not shooting well, having his problems in his 19 minutes, just 4 of 12.
Well, only one time did he get inside that foul line for the short little jump shot. No layups, as Michael's going to have to start attacking that rim. And there, the big rebounding advantage for Chicago. Most of that because of the offensive rebounds, 12-7, getting 16 points on those 12 offensive rebounds.
Kemi Mutombo, the high man in the rebounding department for Atlanta, with 8. 6-point Hawk lead. We'll be back with the second half in a moment.
Shot back in Atlanta. Lenny Wilkins told his team at halftime a couple of things. One, too many easy turnovers. The other thing he was bothered by was the defense. He said that the Bulls were getting to the basket too easy. Wanted the big man to step up on the pick and roll, keep him off the basket. Now, Phil Jackson very upset at his team. Said his offense was stagnant. They throw the ball into the post, nobody on the cutting lanes, and said they just got to turn it up to stay in this ball game. Marv?
All right, thanks, Ahmad. Remember, in game 1, the Bulls trailed by 11 at the half, down by as many as 16, but came back with a very strong third quarter, led by Michael Jordan, who had 20 in the third quarter. This is what upset Phil Jackson. And then in game 2, this past Thursday night in Chicago, the Hawks able to break it open with a 19-3 run early in the fourth quarter. Bulls were able to come back after they were trailing, and then the Hawks put it away. Here's Jordan. Michael Jordan gets the third quarter going with that short jump shot, and the Hawks now lead by 4.
Well, both Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, 4 for 12 in that first half. Obviously, that's going to have to improve, but also Chicago needs contributions from Luke Longley, Dennis Rodman, and Tony Kukoc.
Well, Scottie Pippen with the block shot. And Jordan gets the call on the continuation. The basket counts, and the foul.
Well, Steve Smith taking way too much time to release this shot, giving Pippen an opportunity to get back into the play. And then Michael Jordan, they say he was fouled before he got into the act of shooting.
Made the change. At first, the indication that the basket counted. Foul was called on Blaylock. Oh, dangerous pass thrown by Longley. Harper eluding Blaylock. Ron Harper has come up strong. He has 8 points. Done it at both ends. Earlier we're talking about the job he had done on Mookie Blaylock in the early going.
Well, the Bulls are known for their ability to pick it up at the defensive end, put lots of pressure on, force some misses, and that's how they get their offense going.
Laettner blocked from behind by Jordan. And suddenly there are signs for the Bulls here at the start of the third.
Now, anytime the offense is suffering, this is how you get yourself going. And it can be a play like that. They already have a couple of block shots to start this third quarter. A rebound, an outlet pass, a fast break. But the Bulls definitely do need a jump start.
Shot clock down at 3, 2, Blaylock. And he drew the foul. Foul on Harper. That is his first.
And Ron Harper not in any agreement at all on this particular play. So far, a good move at the beginning of this ball game by Phil Jackson to put Ron Harper on Blaylock. This is where Harper really helped the Bulls last year in their championship run, playing those smaller, quicker point guards and giving Michael Jordan some rest and not having to play them. Although in the last series against Washington, Michael had to guard Strickland. Here's why Harper is upset on this call. Oh, half penetration by Blaylock, coming from behind, waving at air. But in the opinion of referee Hugh Evans, got some body.
Blaylock is 75% free throw shooter. It's been a quiet game thus far for Mookie. He's playing on a sore ankle that required treatment a number of times during the course of the week. Didn't stop though in games 1 and 2. Looked like Caffey stepped out. He's on the baseline. So the ball back to the Hawks. Lenny Wilkins going with Mutombo, Leitner, and Corbin up front. Blaylock and Smith in the backcourt.
Michael Jordan on the way back giving some words of encouragement and admonishment to Scottie Pippen. Say, take the ball to the basket yourself. Take the shot yourself.
Leitner getting good position. Leitner taking Caffey down deep. Solid game for Christian Leitner. He has 11. The Hawks have a 5-point advantage. Pippen played by Corbin. Corbin got picked off. Mutombo switching out on Pippen. So Leitner playing Longley. And the foul is called on Leitner.
Well, Scottie Pippen on that last offensive possession had an opportunity to make a play for himself, making that pass to the man out of bounds, Jason Caffey. And Michael Jordan making sure that Scottie Pippen knows that those two are going to have to carry a big part of the scoring load because apparently nobody else for Chicago can get involved. There's that center matchup as Luke Longley just unable to get involved. And actually, Dikembe Mutombo has to guard Longley in this particular game without Dennis Rodman on the floor. Although I did notice on the last possession, Mutombo moved over to guard Jason Caffey because he doesn't want to have to worry about Longley spotting up for that little 15-foot jump shot.
Longley missing that second free throw badly. Missing on both free throw opportunities. Leitner. Jordan with the steal from the blind side. Nobody warned Leitner. Jordan foul.
Michael Jordan trying to set the tone defensively for his teammates. Already has a block, been very active here, coming down and sinking on Christian Leitner for that steal, and then just overpowering Mookie Blaylock down on the right block to draw the foul and get to the free throw line for his foul shots number 3 and 4.
Foul committed by Blaylock, his second, and Michael Jordan has come up very strong in the third quarter in this series. Fourth quarter, a different story. Overall, just 3 of 13, not able to do it the other night in game 2. He certainly had the shot opportunities, but perhaps too much taken out of him. The cost of the rebounding had to make up for the lack of rebounding on the part of Dennis Rodman, and also the fact that they have run out of gas in trying to defend against Mookie Blaylock.
Well, Marv, I thought when the Bulls were down by 16, Michael tried to get it all back in a hurry, putting up too many three-pointers.
Tyrone Corbin with his third field goal. He has 7 points, got the friendly roll, and the Hawks now lead 57-52. Delay of game called on the Hawks following the shot by Corbin. 3:10 gone by, third quarter. Now Jordan posting. Met by Mutombo. Jordan able to save it though. Shot clock down to 4. Jordan for 3. Mutombo with the rebound. I should say, how Caffey able to convert on the miss by Jordan. 57-54 Atlanta. Corbin for 3. And Smith fires. Rebounded by Longley. A battle between Smith and Pippen, and Steve Smith did not like that foul. He's fortunate was now he is hit with a technical. And he better be careful. Lenny Wilkins out to keep Smith away. Just started to say he better be careful, and it was not accepted. He was not careful. Hit with the tee.
You know, when the officials set the tone in the beginning of the game on how they're going to officiate Dennis Rodman, the other players on both teams have to take their cue from that, because the officials are going to look bad if they're going to call the quick technical or the quick foul on Dennis Rodman, and then when another player overreacts or reacts in kind and they don't call it, it's going to look different. So Steve Smith, kind of a little bit of a touch foul there, just a little slap of the arm, and maybe not a real strong foul there, but you've got to accept it and move on. But once you start barking at the official, waving your arm, you got to get teed up.
Well, Phil Jackson enjoyed those moments.
Somebody threw something on the floor.
4 technicals have been handed out. 2 on each team. Oh, Dennis liked it too.
He's probably thinking to himself, that doesn't even come close to what's been done to me.
Beautiful pass. Longley setting up Caffey. What a beautiful backdoor feed from Luke Longley. And the game is tied at 57. 4 minutes have been played in the third quarter. Leitner trying to pull his way on Caffey, and a foul on Chicago. It's on Hopper. That is his second.
It's very important for Jason Caffey to make himself available, keep moving around, to keep Dikembe Mutombo honest, because Mutombo is just totally disregarding him. He didn't even see him as Caffey made that cut.
Leitner for 3. Jordan with the rebound. 7 rebounds for Michael Jordan. Pippen with the room. Scottie Pippen. The Chicago Bulls have come from behind, trailing by as many as 10. They now lead by 2. They double on Leitner. Leitner played well by Caffey, but a foul has been called.
Well, the Bulls are getting more of a mindset to start taking the ball to the basket. Pippen waving for the ball, has a notion to go to the rim, but then there he is again. Dikembe Mutombo showing up as he is keeping his eyes on Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan at all times. And Pippen wisely pulling up and settling for that jump shot. That was good initial defense on the part of Jason Caffey to make it tough for Leitner to get position and get the ball. Made the Hawks use up a lot of time, but then I think getting fatigued at the end of the shot clock, Caffey wore down and then committed a careless foul.
Christian Leitner helped lead the Blue Devils of Duke to consecutive NCAA titles in 91 and 92. 13 points now for Leitner. And Scottie Pippen stepped out. Ball back to Atlanta. And the Hawks want to talk it over. Just under 7 remaining in the third. The game tied at 59. Back in Atlanta, look at the Centennial Olympic Park, about 3 blocks from the Omni. The Omni, incidentally, the site for Olympic volleyball last summer. All those Olympic memories, Matt, when you would try to encourage Bill Walton to sneak away, stay away from us, to come here to the Omni to watch volleyball.
Couldn't stop him. Well, Michael Jordan struggling at 5 for 15, so some of the other Bulls getting involved in this third quarter. Ron Harper, Jason Caffey on the cut, and Pippen pulling up and putting one right in the eye of Dikembe Mutombo.
And in this third quarter, Michael Jordan 1 of 3, 5 points. Jason Caffey's done a nice job. Overall 10 points and 7 rebounds. Caffey in the starting lineup today instead of Dennis Rodman. The game is tied at 59. Just under 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Mutombo working on Longley. And a foul. That's 3 on Luke Longley.
Well, before the game, we saw assistant coach Bill Cartwright spending a lot of time with Luke Longley just in that area of the floor, giving instructions to Luke on how to defend Dikembe Mutombo. Not the smoothest offensive player in the world, Dikembe, but very effective with that hook shot.
Bill Cartwright so effective over the years, particularly as a member of the Chicago Bulls after coming over the New York Knicks and keeping big centers off the blocks, pushing them into areas they did not want to go.
And using those elbows adroitly.
He would say guiding them. Oh, a sweeping hook by Mutombo.
said it wasn't very pretty, but it is effective.
Hawks 61-59 over the Bulls. Mutombo, 14 points. Caffey now being guarded by Mutombo. Shot clock at 5. Pippen for 3. Air ball. And a blocking foul, illegal pick called on Leitner, and that's 4 on Christian Leitner.
There's one of those careless fouls I was talking about earlier on the scouting report by Christian Leitner. When he's involved in and around the basket, big body like that, he will be involved in a lot of contact. He can't afford to pick up a blocking foul like that 28, 30 feet away from the basket.
Look at the rebounding rundown. Bulls with the decisive advantage in the first half off the boards. Rebound number 5, covered by Leitner. Hawks with the ball. They lead by 2. Blaylock was a rushed shot.
And Leitner may have gotten away with another one there as he set a high pick for Mookie Blaylock to come off. And the pick and roll has been such a good play for Atlanta, but Christian Leitner can't afford to be setting those picks right now with those 4 personal fouls. Little right to left pick and roll as, Christian Leitner just turned the shoulder and the hip right into the defender, Ron Harper. It should have been called for another foul.
Alan Henderson has come on, replacing Christian Leitner. Henderson able to handle that rebound. 5 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Marv Albert, Matt Guokas, and Ahmad Rashad from Atlanta. And Mutombo going to work on Longley. Pulls another hook shot out of the arsenal. Longley setting the pick, trying to free up Jordan. Nice play, pick and roll, executed between Jordan and Longley, leading to the foul call. Don Henderson.
I said it in the first half. Every time that Dikembe Mutombo has to defend out on the floor, as he does here, trying to show on Michael Jordan, something good happens inside for the Chicago Bulls. Now, no field goal, but Longley gets to the free throw line. But when Mutombo is guarding Jason Caffey, who's playing well and has 6 offensive rebounds, Caffey is staying on the baseline, close to the basket, and letting Mutombo protect. Here's Luke Longley's scouting report. He has those post moves, hasn't shown it in this series, can make that shot, but he hasn't been getting open for it. Will commit the careless foul from time to time. And anytime you're playing the post player Longley in the trap offense, you like to keep the ball out of the hands, high or low.
And Luke Longley, usually a good foul shooter, 79%. During the regular season, is 0 for 4 this afternoon. Hawks 61 and the Bulls 59. Shot clock down to 3. Smith for 3. And scooped up by Smith. Oh, nice ball movement by Steve Smith to get it to Alan Henderson. They double up on Mutombo. Henderson. And he'll go to the line. Phil Jackson upset with that call. It's 4 on Longley. Bulls over the foul limit. So Alan Henderson to the foul line. A 60% free throw shooter. Played only 30 games during the regular season due to acute viral pancreatitis. Phil Jackson reacting to that last foul call on Luke Longley.
And what he's trying to demonstrate to the referee is that Longley stood still, held his ground, and Alan Henderson just barged right into him.
Atlanta by 3 points. Hawks have led by as many as 10. Bulls led briefly at the start of this third quarter. Pippen being played by Mutombo. Now Longley. And we get the whistle Pippen was able to sense that mismatch, and a pushing foul is called on Henderson. Well, next Sunday, become a part of television history and epic adventure, the incredible voyage, the ultimate saga. And I have so many more adjectives to throw at you, Matt. The Odyssey coming to NBC next Sunday.
Well, we're going to need another adjective for Luke Longley's free throw shooting. 0 for 4, and now make it 0 for 5. But once again, Scottie Pippen played on the perimeter by Mutombo, and every time the Bulls can lure him away, they can get something inside. So, instead of staying with the triangle offense all the time, and it's hard to change because that's been so good in them, but in playoff years past, the Bulls have gone to other things like spreading the floor, letting Michael Jordan handle at the top, get into the teeth of the defense, and create.
So Longley is now 1 of 6 from the line. Hawks 62, Bulls 60. 3:25 left in the third. The play by Pippen to knock it away from Mutombo. Pippen pushing down. Pippen all the way. Oh, what a move. Scottie Pippen going the distance, and he's tied the game at 62.
They have been few and far between for Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and the whole Chicago Bulls because of the presence of Mutombo, but Dikembe stayed at the other end of the floor that time.
Blaylock. Mookie now forcing the issue here in the third quarter. And Mookie went down, slow to get up. Looks to be all right. Hopper for 3. Longley with the rebound. The bucket. That's what the Bulls have wanted to see from Luke Longley.
Well, Scottie Pippen so aggressive at the defensive end in this third quarter, getting the fast break opportunity, seeing no resistance in front of him, taking the ball right to the rim. And then Luke Longley taking advantage of the opportunity with no Dikembe Mutombo in there, out on the perimeter, and Luke throws it down. Well, moments ago, former Chicago Bull player, now assistant coach, getting into the ear of Luke Longley, pointing out, I'm sure, some of the positive things that Luke has done in this third quarter, but also asking Luke, where has your foul shot gone? And Luke trying to show him, I still have the stroke, I just can't put it in the basket.
Bill Cartwright, the mentor here of Luke Longley. The Bulls now lead 64-62 with 2:25 remaining in the third. The Hawks only 3 of 12 shooting in this third quarter. And he has gone cold. Pippen with the push for 3. And Caffey continues to do the job off the boards. Jordan putting moves on Smith and then able to hang to hit that jumper.
Michael is getting closer and closer to attacking the rim, all the while keeping that eye on Mutombo. He had Longley open on the wing, but saw that Mutombo did not leave his feet.
Blaylock. And he was fouled from behind by Hopper.
Michael finding a little crease in the defense, easily getting by Steve Smith, getting up, hanging in the air, an extra second as Mutombo just never got there. But now Mookie Blaylock at the other end, finally getting to the free throw line as Michael's starting to feel like, hey, maybe I can get the hot hand in this late third quarter, early fourth quarter. But this is usually when Michael gets his rest.
Both teams are over the foul limit. Talking with Phil Jackson prior to the game, we asked what will he do defending against Mookie Blaylock. The Hawks had been exploiting the Bulls on the screen and roll, working it to perfection the first 2 games, but he said Mookie can shoot himself in and out of games.
I also think Ron Harper deserves a lot of credit. He has given his constant defensive attention to Blaylock, forcing him away from the middle and getting help from his teammates.
Here, yes. And you can hear the Bulls contingent here at the Omni. A lot of fans rooting for the Chicago Bulls here in Atlanta. Bulls now lead 68-64 with 1:20 to go in the third quarter. Shot clock down to 6. Henderson over Caffey. Mutombo. And he's headed back to the line.
Now Michael Jordan has gotten himself one in the lane here, using the high screen from Luke Longley to get himself free. Mutombo unable to get out there and show big enough, and Michael Jordan feeling it when he gets in that little home run trot backwards. You know he wants the ball every time down. But as I said earlier, this is when Michael sometimes gets his rest. That last minute and a half, 2 minutes of the third quarter, the first couple of minutes of the fourth quarter. But I doubt if Phil will give it to him right now after hitting 2 in a row.
Well, Luke Longley just picked up number 5. He's replaced by Ryan Williams, played 9 minutes in the first half. Mookie Blaylock will get a rest. Eldridge Kastner returns. Luke Longley, 20 minutes, 5.6 rebounds. Did some good things in the third quarter, but he struggled at the foul line, just 1 of 6 at the line. Just under a minute to go in this third quarter. Basket will not count. The foul before the shot attempt. It is on Corbin. Hawks over the limit. So Pippen to the free throw line for the first time.
Well, the Bulls starting to get back into the swing of things from the free throw line, only taking 4 in the first half, have taken 9 so far in this third quarter. The problem, only making 4 of them because of the problems that Luke Longley has had from the line, and now Scottie Pippen. There's Scottie in this year's first round, scoring below his norm, and the three-point shooting way off, but the three-point shooting improved dramatically in this series so far, but not today.
And Michael Jordan will get a brief rest. Randy Brown has checked in. Bulls lead by 3. 50 seconds left in the third. Ryan Williams in a battle with Dikembe Mutombo. Smith eluding Pippen. Jason Caffey with his 10th rebound. And a foul, a bump on Hancock. And these fouls would be costly if the Bulls were able to hit their free throws, with Atlanta over the limit.
And Lenny Wilkins obviously unhappy with that call.
Lenny Wilkins done a terrific job with the Atlanta Hawks, a man who was named to the list of the NBA's top 10 coaches of all time and selected as one of the 50 greatest players of all time. The only man to make both lists. There it is. In terms of playoff victories, Lenny Wilkins at the number 6 spot. Pat Riley leading the way, picked up number 141 last night with a win over the New York Knicks in Miami to tie that series at 1 apiece. Half minute left in the third. The Bulls 71 and the Hawks 66. Mutombo. Nice move. Off the handoff pass.
Terrific play by Darren Hancock, who knew exactly where his teammate was, made the execution right there.
Chicago by 3. Final seconds of the third. Pippen fired. And Caffey came up short. After 3, the Bulls have taken the lead after trailing by as many as 10. Michael Jordan certainly instrumental at 9 of his 19 in the third quarter, shooting 7 of 17 overall. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. Well, in the third quarter, Chicago with a 25-16 advantage over Atlanta. The Hawks shot just 4 of 16 from the field. In the third, the Bulls 9 of 18, and the Bulls lead by 3. Brief rest for that man, Michael Jordan, sitting out right at the end of the third quarter. Overall, shooting 7 for 17, also 7 rebounds, and has 2 blocked shots. And Jordan now defending on Steve Smith as this fourth quarter gets underway. Tony Kukoc has returned, as has Steve Kerr and Judd Bushler. So Phil Jackson shaking things up here at the start of the fourth, but has not gone back to Dennis Rodman, who has struggled. Air ball, so it's a 24-second violation.
Well, at the start of the fourth quarter in Game 2, the Bulls were trailing 76-70, and Phil Jackson took the gamble, arresting both Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen at the same time, and it was disaster as the Bulls went down by 16. So Pippen gets a short rest there. He doesn't want those two out of the game at the same time.
And apparently a problem with one of the 24-second clocks. Bob Delaney, the official at the other end, blowing the whistle to stop play after the Bulls had thrown the ball in. And they made the adjustment. 3 seconds, in fact, added to the game clock. Off the pressure, Bushler able to get it back. Steve Kerr. Michael Jordan being played by Darren Hancock, who is a good defensive player. Jordan to the crossover. Jordan! Williams is there. It counts, and the foul. Well, Michael challenged Dikembe and was turned back, but Brian Williams put it down, and he'll go to the line.
Oh, what a sequence as Michael almost breaks the ankles of Hancock on the crossover, and Dikembe prides himself on the fact that Michael has never dunked on his face, and he certainly didn't get one there, and I'm sure he'll let Michael know about it at some future date. But a wise play by Brian Williams not to take anything for granted, following up right behind as Mutombo was blocking that shot.
Alan Henderson called for the foul, his fourth. And the Bulls continue to have the problems at the line, but Brian Williams recaptures. Bushler open. Eluding Leitner, passed on the shot. Kerr. George Bushler finding Steve Kerr, and the Bulls have opened up a 76-68 lead. Timeout called by the Hawks.
Wow, terrific ball movement on the part of the Bulls. Just kept the ball moving. No way the defense would catch up. And this time, Steve Kerr nails the wide open jump shot.
Miller Genuine Draft presents a classic moment of the NBA at 50.
Today we look back at a playoff record set by Dikembe Mutombo. Nuggets and Jazz meeting in the 1994 Western Conference semis, and Nuggets center Dikembe Mutombo, a blocking machine. 38 blocks in all. That's a playoff record for blocked shots in a 7-game series. In recognition of this classic moment, Miller Beer will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. There's the voting. Dikembe gets the nod, Defensive Player of the Year. The glove, Gary Payton finished second, and the man they refer to as the Glove of the East, Mookie Blaylock, finished third in the voting.
And he is back on the floor.
Smith for three. And Kerr able to protect the ball. A minute 20 gone by in the fourth. The Bulls with a 76-68 lead. Kerr saving that pass, and then it's stolen by Corbin. Leitner playing with 4 fouls. They double up on him. Smith got the step. Blocked from behind by Jordan. Blaylock finding Leitner. And the call, last touched by the Bulls. It will be Atlanta ball. They get a new 24.
Well, the Bulls hustling, scrambling on defense, but on that double team of Leitner a little earlier, he had Dikembe Mutombo marching right down the lane and missed him with the pass for the easy one. And then Leitner had an easy little layup and squeezed it.
Steve Smith with 11 points all in the second quarter. He got himself in early foul trouble, sat out a good portion of the first. Mutombo and Corbin with a good hustle play to get to that loose ball and was fouled. Foul on Brian Williams. Brian Williams in at center with Luke Longley having picked up a 5th foul late in the third quarter. And Phil Jackson obviously has decided to go without Dennis Rodman. We could see Dennis later on in this fourth quarter, but got in foul trouble, hit with a technical earlier. Corbin keeps it alive again. Tyrone Corbin, scrappy, savvy player, And it looked like he hurt his hand. Kerr for three. The tip missed by Bushler. Kerr able to get to it. Oh, Jordan now followed it. Sets it up for Kerr. Kukoc for three. Yes. The Bulls lead by 9.
Well, extra aggressive effort defensively by the Atlanta Hawks, but it just made the Chicago Bulls pass the ball that much better and get the open shot.
And the Bulls are getting production from Tony Kukoc. Mutombo, double team. And he kicked it out of bounds. Excellent job by the Bulls. Double teaming twice on that sequence.
Well, Michael Jordan coming up with that loose ball to kick out to Kerr and then to Tony Kukoc wide open at the top of the key. And on a day when Jordan and Pippen not shooting the ball well, the Bulls getting contributions from Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc, and Brian Williams.
Brian Williams to fade away. Bushler again keeping it alive, and Jordan converts. So the Bulls lead by 11. This is the biggest lead they've had over the first 3 games of this series. Blaylock. Okay, Blaylock able to extend with Michael Jordan coming at him, looking for the block. 81-72, Chicago. The Bulls looking to go up 2 games to 1. Atlanta was trying to continue the surprise. A win here would put them up 2 games to 1. With game number 4 here tomorrow night. And here on NBC starting at 5:30 Eastern Time. Leitner played by Kukoc. And a hand check foul was called on Tony Kukoc.
Well, the Bulls have been executing much better, mainly because the ball is moving crisper, the spacing is better, and it is getting Atlanta out of sorts defensively. And that's why Michael able to get in there and get that second shot opportunity, as the Bulls feeling from the bench that they may be coming out of that slump.
Tumble trying to set the pick. Blaylock. The back of the tumble, the crowd looking for a foul, nothing called. Shot clock at 7. Kerr surprised by that pass. Kukoc has to pop it. Tony Kukoc with a desperation shot. The 24 was down to 1, and he hit the 3. Kerr with the steal. The Chicago Bulls up by 12, coming up on 7 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter, putting on their best display of this playoff run. Kukoc, the tip by Williams. A 15-4 spurt by Chicago. And Dennis Rodman, first off the bench to greet his teammates. Timeout called by Atlanta.
Well, Tony Kukoc sees the shot clock winding down, has to launch from about 28 feet, actually got hit on the play as well. And then Kukoc saying, where's Dikembe Mutombo? Who cares? I'm taking the ball right to the basket. Doesn't get it, but once Mutombo leaves, Brian Williams cleans up.
It's the Bulls by 14. We'll be right back. Hawks now are seeing the Chicago Bulls that they have become accustomed to watching and playing against these past couple of years. Bulls now lead by 14, and this is a key factor.
An incredible number, 31-9, on a day when Dennis Rodman is not involved on the boards or anywhere else. But a big reason for it is Dikembe Mutombo, always looking to block shots, gets himself out of position, and that's enabling the Bulls, the best offensive rebounding team in the league, to get those second chance points.
And the Bulls doing it with Chuck Bushler, who has played an important role keeping the ball alive off the boards. Tony Kukoc has had the touch. Scottie Pippen has been sitting out during the course of this run. Brian Williams has also done a good job. 6:15 remaining in the fourth quarter. Nice pass from Kukoc. Brian Williams now rejected by Dikembe Mutombo. Went for the circular route. That's 4 blocked shots for Mutombo. Leitner lost it. Jordan, met by Smith, decides to pull it back. Shot clock at 7. Williams. Kukoc. Tony Kukoc with another big bucket. 5 of 7 from the field. 14 points.
Well, the Hawks down by 16, and the play that has been so good to them, the pick and roll throughout this series. Here they're going to try one here, but it has been shut down effectively by Chicago.
And a foul call on the Bulls. Tony Kukoc with 8 of his 14 points here in the fourth quarter.
Well, shot clock winding down. Kukoc does a good job making himself available for Brian Williams, but the left-hander going to his right, all he can do is just try to twist his body and fade away. Tony Kukoc has had his problems in the playoffs. His numbers always down from the regular season, but making a major contribution in today's game and playing, of course, with that sore foot and a bad ankle.
Foul on the Bulls called on Steve Kerr. Scottie Pippen has returned, as has Ron Harper. The Bulls have outscored the Hawks 17-4. Here in the fourth, and it gets worse for Atlanta. Traveling violation is called. So Phil Jackson now going with Brian Williams, Tony Kukoc, Michael Jordan, Ron Harper, Scottie Pippen. 5 minutes left in the fourth. Jordan with the pull-up on Smith, way off. But it comes to Pippen. Another second chance for the Bulls. Michael has not been looking to shoot. Lost the dribble. And last touch by Jordan.
Well, the Atlanta Hawks are still a dangerous offensive team because of what they can do defensively and the three-point capability of Steve Smith and Mookie Blaylock.
Smith. Kept alive by Mutombo. And a foul. Foul on Kukoc. Well, it's like words between Michael Jordan and Dikembe Mutombo.
And I thought I saw when Michael went by Mutombo on that last play that he came across the face of Dikembe Mutombo, taking exception. Here it is as Mutombo inside there, getting that rebound. Kukoc wrapping him up, and Michael Jordan taking a swat, gambling on a strip. Didn't get the face, got the top of the noggin.
4:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Henry James has just checked in. Not wasting any time popping one up. He's a notorious street shooter. Very dangerous from downtown. First time he's played today. Harper. Just under 4 to go in the fourth. Pippen. Scottie Pippen from Ron Harper. Bulls looking very sharp. They are leading 90-72. And Smith hacked. Coming up next, Shaquille O'Neal and the Los Angeles Lakers hoping to even up the series, going up against Karl Malone and the Jazz. Malone only 2 of 20 from the field in Game 3, the conference semifinal between the Lakers and Jazz continuing. That's next right here on NBC following Chicago and Atlanta.
Well, there was a big play at the end of the first half when Chicago scored after a free throw situation for Atlanta as Scottie Pippen made a layup. I think it lifted the Bulls, but they are notorious for coming out in the second half, and whether it's the third quarter or the fourth quarter, turning that defense up getting some loose balls, getting some steals, and consequently, it gets Chicago's offense going, and that's been the story today.
Hawks led by 6 at the half. Chicago had a 3-point lead going to the fourth quarter after the turnaround in the third. And the call against Chicago, offensive foul. It's 3 on Jordan.
And Michael just handed the ball to referee Derek Stafford, walked the other way. No, doesn't have to say anything. No, knew he did it. On to the next play.
Smith stepped back to 3-point territory, but he's been off. Pippen. Like Steve Smith hurt his hand, and the Hawks call for time. A very convincing statement being made here by the Chicago Bulls following all the concern. Talk about a desperation game. Series tied at 1 coming into today. Scottie Pippen for Brian Williams, able to reach for it and hammer it down. Welcome back to Atlanta. The first 2 games of this series have been tightly contested. In game 1, with the score tied, it was Scottie Pippen with this 3-point shot under a minute to play that gave the Bulls a 100-97 victory. And then in game 2, Mookie Blaylock on fire, hit 8 of 9 3-pointers, 26 points in all with 9 assists, and the Hawks even the series with a 103-95 win. And today here in game 3, the Bulls able to turn things around in the third quarter. Recall after game 2, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen made a plea for help from others. Look at the schedule. Game 4 here at the Omni. Tomorrow, game 5 in Chicago on Tuesday. Jordan and Pippen saying we need help. Well, the Bulls have received that help here today from Brian Williams, Jason Caffey, Tony Kukoc. And the foul is called on Kukoc. That is his 4th. To get the idea that Dennis is a wrap for today.
The bright lights of the Omni just doing all kinds of damage to Dennis, but he was a very vocal enthusiast on the bench for Chicago throughout this second half, as the rest of the team was really into it, realizing the importance of this game, which was a struggle in the first half. The Bulls were grinding it out, but they realized getting back this home court advantage, and there's the fourth quarter scoring. Other than Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc making a couple of huge threes and a little fadeaway jumper from the right side. Brian Williams playing with a bad knee, big contribution, and Steve Kerr chipping in with that 3-pointer.
And then I thought unheralded, it will not show up in the stat sheet. Judd Bushler did a tremendous job in keeping balls alive on the offensive boards. The Hawks just 6 of 29 shooting in the second half. Just under 3 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Priest Lauderdale, the 7'4" rookie from Central State, has checked in. Lauderdale playing for the first time, first-round draft pick. Kukoc fronting Henderson for the steal, and then leads Pippen. The Bulls 94, and the Hawks 76.
Well, Tony Kukoc was chided in the first half by Phil Jackson, saying that Alan Henderson was killing him. Terrific play by Kukoc on that steal.
Oh, the tip by Henderson. You know, as you listen to what is taking place here at the Omni, the crowd very accepting of this blowout. The expectations of the Atlanta Hawks are certainly within reason here in the city of Atlanta. They were stunned by the win in Chicago to tie the series. And a tremendous amount of Chicago Bull fans here at the Omni. They have been reacting to what the Bulls have been doing.
And Michael Jordan looking to a couple of people, whether it's press row or some photographers, telling him that quiet now, we are back in charge. But even if the fans here in Atlanta didn't expect much from this Atlanta Hawk team in this series, the players and the coaching staff led by Lenny Wilkins fully expect to be right in the thick of this series.
Well, it will set up pivotal game 4 tomorrow here in Atlanta. The Bulls up now 2-1. Kukoc What a game for Tony Kukoc. He now has 16 points. The Bulls now lead 96-78. John Barry on the floor for the first time. Another Hawk turnover. You know, Matt, I vowed I would never say a pivotal game 4, and it came out. I was searching. There was nothing else there.
Crucial?
Well, okay. Ahmad would have used that. Here's Kerr slicing his way. Kukoc. And Henderson pushes down. Oh! Kerr with the steal. 45 seconds remaining. But again, they have been doing this throughout the second half. 12 points for Brian Williams. And you know, Jerry Krause beaming as he watches this one. What a pickup for the Chicago Bulls. The signing of Brian Williams. Henderson. And it's now 98-80 Chicago.
And it looked like Brian was in a heap of trouble in that last game when he injured his knee, went for some MRI testing, and really wasn't sure if he would be able to continue in the series, making a valuable contribution today.
Down to 15 seconds. Leading Williams. One of the many factors killing the Hawks, the turnover situation, 19 in all, 8 in the fourth quarter, and time has run out on Atlanta. Chicago Bulls bouncing back in very strong fashion as they defeat the Atlanta Hawks 100-80 here at the Omni. And now lead the series 2-1. Let's go to Ahmad with Michael Jordan.
All right, thanks, Marv. The series 1-1 coming into this game. A lot of people thought this was a desperation game. Did you guys feel that way?
We felt we had to come back and show that we can play better than what we played the other night. And we haven't really played that well in the playoffs at all. But we know we're a better basketball team than what we have shown. And so I don't consider that to be a desperation. We just wanted to prove that we can still play the game of basketball like we know how to play it.
You had said before the game that you needed everybody to step up on this team. You got to feel good because today it seemed like all the guys stepped up.
Yeah, I think our bench really came in and supported, when we really needed it. And, that's what this team is all about. That's how we became champions, when everybody could contribute at certain times in the game. And tonight was, no different.
And there was no panic on your part. You seemed to be well in control of yourself. Everybody coming out here ready to play.
We all were in control. We were not panicking like most people were. And we know it's just one game, one loss. And we can get ourselves right back in position to control this series. And we did that today.
All right, so then tomorrow I'll see you back here. We'll do it again?
Yeah, I look forward to it.
All right. Over to you, Marv.
Michael's the one looking forward. Jordan with 21 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. And the Hawks have been quieted by the Bulls. So Jordan today getting help from the supporting cast while the Hawks went cold in the second half. Only 8 of 32 from the field. Again, the final. Bulls 100, Hawks 80. Bulls now up 2-1. Coming up next, game 2 of our playoff doubleheader. Shaquille O'Neal and the Lakers look to even up the series against Karl Malone and the Utah Jazz in game 4 of the West semifinals. For Matt Gukas and Ahmad Rashad, I'm Marv Albert saying so long from the Omni. You've been watching the NBA on NBC.